Now let's understand string literals and string objects a bit more by an example. So let's say this is a compare function that we have that compares string objects and string literals using equals function and double equals to functions and outputs accordingly. Then we have a main function wherein we have these strings a string and b string, both are David, content is David, and they are obviously string literals computed at compile time, and let's say this is stored at address 100. Since b string also is the same string literal as a string is referring to, so therefore that will also be stored at address 100. Both these references a string and b string will point to the same string literal David in the heap memory. So then we compare a string and b string. What do we compare? Note that a string and b string both are string literals David. So line 6, if a string equals b string, yes they equal. So since David equals to David, right, the content are being matched, so this will print out as equal. This part won't execute because this has been satisfied. At line number 11 we check a string equals to b string. Since both are stored at the same address as they are pointing to the same string literal, so therefore then it will print equals to as well in the new line. I'm just writing it like this. So then we have using new, this will print as it is. Then we have a string set to a new string David. So this is a new string object. It is not a string literal. So now it is pointing at a string object. String objects are computed at runtime, and let's say assume that this is stored at an address 300 in the heap memory since it's computed at runtime. Similarly, b will be computed at runtime because it's a new string that is being created, and let's say this is now stored at address 400. So now we compare these two strings which are pointing to address 300 and 400. So for that, a string equals b string, yes the content of these two strings are same, which is David, so this line would output so there will be an output equal from this line, and then else part won't execute. And then we have at line 11 if a string equals to b string. Notice that both these strings are pointing to different address locations, so this will not be executed as line 11 would turn out to be false. So else part would execute and this portion would be printed in the next line, not equals to. So then line 26 concatenation 1 prints as it is. Line 27, this is DA plus VID. So these are two string literals. At compile time this is computed as David and stored in a string. Since both are string literals, this can be computed at a compile time, and since we have a string literal David already at address 100 and this is computing to be the same, so therefore this is now again referencing to the address 100 where this string literal was initially stored. B string, again this also computes to David. Just a moment. So this also evaluates to David. Again this string literal is already in the memory at address 100, so this is also now pointing to address 100, which is done at the compile time. Now we compare these. So again the contents for both are David and the address are also the same, 100. So the contents are the same, so this line will execute since we're checking for equals. So equal will be printed first for this, and then after that at line else part won't execute. Then at line 11 again they both point at the same address, so equal to will be printed. Next this is printed as it is, concatenation 2. This again evaluates to David because we are working with string literals and string literals are evaluated at compile time. And again we have a string literal David at address 100, so this also now points to the same address 100. Same with the same reasoning, this also evaluates to David. It's a string literal computed at compile time and stored at address 100. Now we compare these two things. Again the content is the same, address are the same, so this will also output equal and equals to. So let's check our output. So as we said, first it will output equal and equal to, using new, equal and not equal to in the next line, which is being done here. Then concatenation 1, that is being printed, equal to, then concatenation 2, this is what is being printed here. First equal is printed and then equal to is printed.